Hey guys, this is Bruce. Welcome to Yuribruce, and let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into. Oh, I'm laughing because one of my favorite YouTubers says that all the time. Philip DeFranco. I don't know if you've heard of him. Great guy. Check him out. Yeah. Anyway, Instigator, how you doing? Big Trucker Series, how you doing? How you guys feeling this today? I only have one thing I really want to talk about, but I'm totally open to open topics, just like we normally do. But what I wanted to talk about is how Yuri and I throughout this epidemic are doing okay because we have multiple streams of income. I just want to emphasize the importance of having more income streams. Listen. This is something that all of us can agree on, regardless of our differences, political differences. Right? We don't agree, I'm sure, on many social topics. I've had arguments with Big Truck Series review, not arguments, disagreements. We agree to disagree on different social issues. I'm very vocal about how I feel politically. I'm not afraid to talk to anyone about it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong on certain things. If I'm misguided, I'm misguided. If I'm misinformed, I'm okay with being wrong. But let me tell you something. Let me talk to you guys about something that is politically neutral. That is, doesn't matter what religion you are, doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter your gender or sexual orientation. It applies to all of us, and it is important for every single one of us, regardless of the country you're in as well. Multiple streams of income. I've had multiple streams of income since 2008, and let me tell you something. It doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter what administration, what kind of shenanigans, what kind of crazy executive orders they want to pass. It doesn't matter if there's an economic upturn, a pandemic. It doesn't matter if there's an economic upturn or an economic downturn. That's what I was trying to say. It doesn't matter. We live in a capitalistic society. Now, you may have all kinds of ideas of capitalism. I've seen people jump on here and they're against capitalism. I've seen people are pro-cap. Most people I talk to are pro-capitalist. Doesn't matter. The current world we live in is capitalistic. In this world, the costs of everything because of capitalism is rising. To keep up with this rate of cost of living, we need to have multiple streams of income. And that means if you have a retirement, have another, have your girl have a job or have a business on the side, and she's having money coming in. You, as a side gig, you could be doing some kind of gig work, some kind of Uber Foods or whatever. Like, have multiple streams of income, so that way when there's an economic downturn, if somebody else gets in office and they go a completely different direction, and your salary goes down or your insurance goes up or any kind of life things come up, your tires blow, your car gets in a wreck, whatever. Multiple streams of income has helped us because it's allowed us to be stable, have that much more stability. And one of the things I would recommend for you guys to start is YouTube. And the reason why YouTube is a great way to start is you're not going to make money immediately, but it's a great way to build up an audience and build up a community. And then what you do, give out free information on whatever your skill set is. Like, a lot of people will think to themselves, well, I don't really have There's nothing I can talk about. There's nothing I can say. But no, everyone. Okay, right now I've got about 7 people watching me. And each one of these people, I can say, could have great content. Get Lost Vlogs, who already has a YouTube channel, is a black man who's living abroad, goes back and forth abroad, who's married to a Filipina, and who is Muslim. That's several things that he could focus on for a channel, right? One thing you probably want to do is research which keywords and which things he could talk about exhaustively. What kinds of things that are open for him to talk about. He might not want to talk about his religion. That might be too personal. You might want to talk about his family, being a Malaysian couple. That's a great topic. Does it make a lot of money? It doesn't. You might want to talk about relationships. It's okay. But whatever you talk about, you have that one lane, and just talk about it, and then start building a community. It does a couple things. It helps you to get comfortable, especially if you're talking about something that you are comfortable talking about. Then you're opening up something where you already want to talk about it, and then a community just will flock around that because there's other people who want to talk about it. But anyway, so there's Get Lost Vlogs has several things he could talk about. Instigator is in the transportation industry, is married to a Filipina. There's 2 great topics right there. His Filipina was in Hong Kong for a while. Like, he could talk about any one of those things or all of them, and just continue to talk about and find other people with the same or similar experience and start to build this community. Once you build a community, you start building a brand around it. You start going in a certain direction. And then what happens is it starts to expand. It takes on a life of its own. And then you can give people products, services. You can even promote other people's stuff. You don't even have to make anything. You could just have a link that's in your bio or description or whatever. And some people will click that link, and then that makes a little bit of money on the side. You didn't have to do anything. You could promote. Then I'm sure if you watch a lot of YouTube, you'll see people promoting pillows. You'll see them promoting wallets. You'll see them promoting services, credit cards, all kinds of stuff. They make money off of those. So that's another way to make content. So what I want to emphasize to you, it doesn't matter your race, your religion, your nationality, your upbringing, none of that stuff. The field it has been leveled with the internet. Use it to your advantage and get multiple streams of income, because what's happening right now with our economy, I'm not going to get political here, but this is going to stay. This is here. This whole situation that we're having here, it's here to stay. Now, coronavirus, I'm sure, will die down at some point within 2 years, 3 years, something. Who knows? Eventually, we'll get some kind of control over it. But the economic situation that we're having is what I'm talking about. Is volatile. That's the nature of these markets that we have, and people manipulating it from the outside and stuff like that. Who's suffering? It's the middle. It's the guy in the middle. It's people like you and I, middle class people, lower middle class people. We are the ones that are getting this middle class squeeze going on. It's getting harder for us to live. We're working our ass off to make ends meet, and we're trying our best. There's help for the bottom. Democrats and some progressives want to help the bottom to come up, and that's nice. That's very nice. The people at the top who are in power, the GOP wants to help people up at the top. So if you're upper middle class or if you're rich, you're getting help. You're getting tax breaks. You're getting all this stuff. So there's people to help them, and then there's people to help the lower people who are barely making poverty. There's people there's forces trying to help both those, but there's nobody trying to help the middle guy. That's you and I. We have to help ourselves, and you help yourself by getting multiple streams of income. So I just want to emphasize for everybody on here how important, how imperative it is. And then I see people getting multiple streams of income. I see people like the Wallace life, having multiple streams. He's got a job. His lady has a business on the side. They already do YouTube. They're making money in 3 different directions. It starts off small, but if you keep at it, it starts to grow over time. It's amazing. And I'm going to tell you guys, my life is changed. My life is different. I'm not wealthy. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination. But I have this level of stability I have never had in my life. I got a job. Yuri has a job. We have like 4 or 5 different income streams that could right now, we could live in Thailand. We could live in the Philippines on that income very comfortably. It's very exciting. But that's not our plan. Our plan is to continue to work and build out these streams of income till we can live in the U.S. comfortably. Then we might go to a Bali and live there for a while, or a Canada and live there for a while, or Europe, or wherever we want. But we have a goal of replacing all of our current active employment income to where we can, if we want, because I actually like my job right now, and so does Yuri. But let me see what I've got here on this. Super important. This is something that's very important to me, and I hope that other people do this. Saga says, what's up, Bruce? Let me see. What's up, Bruce? At 52 years old, I'm a few years away from retirement. My wife and I have rental property income, stocks, 401k, pension from railroad in future. And we are doing a couple of Airbnbs in the future. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's the direction you want to go. So that when you are retirement age, you can retire. You'll still be working. Like Sagas, what he's saying, he's still going to be doing some work, whether it's dealing with property managers or being a property manager himself. There's going to be some work there, but it's not going to be as intense as his day-to-day hourly job that he has. He has a plan, and he has multiple streams of income that he can pull from, and he's already thinking 5 years out. And that is how we have to be. Like, we have to, if we're going to get through this, guys, we got to do this for ourselves. We got to do for ourselves. And it doesn't matter who's elected. Honestly, it doesn't matter who's elected. These problems financially, socially, these problems were there way before President Trump or President Obama, and really started maybe 20 or 30 years ago. And it's just the nature of the beast, the direction we've decided to go as a country, economically speaking. Now we're in a place where the average household, to be comfortable, has to have 2 or 3 different incomes coming in. And am I lying to you guys? Am I trying to? I am not trying to promote some kind of conspiracy. I don't necessarily know or think that the government or America is going to collapse or anything. I'm not speaking on those things. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about what you can do right now for you and your family that's going to help you guys to rise up economically. Economic power, and that's regardless of your race, religion, nationality. That's one thing we can all agree on. All right. Andy says, I'm about to sign up for a 401k this year at work. Yeah, since I got recently employed again, I started doing my 401k again because my company has matching. They have a certain amount of matching, so I'm like, that's free money, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Like, why not take free money? I'm not super big into 401ks or anything like that. I think I don't know, they're okay, they're average, below average in my opinion. But if they're giving you free money, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll take it. Then we still do stocks. We don't mention it a lot, but we do stocks. And the thing about stocks is that you gotta have some money laying around to go ahead and to put it in there. And now's a good time because some stocks are actually still in economic downturn. I know that the stocks are bigger than they've ever been before, but those are mostly technical stocks. But some of the hotel restaurant management stocks are down. So we're like actually buying them while they're down. We know they're going to go back up at some point. There's a risk. We don't know anything. There's a high probability that some of them will return while they're on a low peak, we're going ahead and buying them while they're low. So that's what we've been doing as far as stocks. Let me see. Andy says, Bruce, did you watch the show on Netflix that we discussed? Sorry to go off topic, but just asking, multiple streams of income. I'm trying to do the same thing. No, I've not watched that one just yet, but I was actually looking for it the other day. Actually, I couldn't find it. No, I did find it. I did find it on there, but I didn't watch it yet. And isn't it in Spanish or something? Andy says, I'm about to sign up for one. Okay, I already read that one. Dave says, glad you're bringing this up because both of you need to work in a marriage. Too expensive for one income. You need to have some other form of income and not necessarily work. Like, for example, the Wallace life. Not sure if his wife works. She might, but she has a business on the side, and he works, and that's two incomes right there. So I'm not saying necessarily work, but yes, in my household, I work, Yuri works, then we have other income streams, and what we do is we make the money, and then we reinvest it. We reinvest it into these other business, all of our extra income. We reinvest some of that into our businesses to build them up again, to build them up further. What do we build up? Publishing. We'll write a book, promote the book, or we'll have someone else write the book. We'll pay someone. We'll have a concept. We'll pay them to write a book for us. We will take it, alter the concept, edit it, and then publish it. So that's one thing we do, publishing on the side. We've just been messing around with it. Does it do all right? It's okay. YouTube makes money by itself. It doesn't make a lot. It's revenue sharing. So take that for what it's worth. It fluctuates based off of the market, based off of how good YouTube does, based off of how many advertisers they have, based off of what topic you have. There's a lot of different factors in that income sharing that is kind of not reliable. But is it useful? Absolutely it is. We also have VA money coming in. Yeah, that's been super helpful to me in my life, for my family. It's been great. If you served in the military, contact me directly. I'll show you what I did. And then I actually have some videos on it. If you go to Yuribruce or you go to Combo Course, you just type in VA, and I've got like a walkthrough of what I did. And I should do another one because I recently had to go back and get a re-up on that. And then we have courses. I developed these courses, write some of my skill set, created a comprehensive video about how to do it, a walkthrough, and every week I'll put out something about like more information for people. What else do? We also do real estate. So real estate is kind of a slower pace, but is very stable, and it's building up. Not only does it pay us every month with the rentals, but it also is building equity, so we could at any time sell the home and walk away with, some money from the sale. So that's just some idea of what you could do. There's many different things that you don't have to do anything that I just named. There's many different other ways to make income. There's Instagram. There's, I don't know how, or residual income. That's one thing we do on site. You could do service industry. Like if there's anything you know how to do, if you're a handyman, you could do that. There's just so many things that you can do to make multiple streams of income. Where's that content? We're waiting. Two Gun says, what's good? How you doing, Two Gun? Multiple streams of income. In YouTube and on YouTube is what you can do is, and I learned this from a few vet YouTubers that I would watch. What they do is they make evergreen content. What that means is content that survives time. Like if I made a video right now and I talk about COVID-19, and I'm talking about how it's affected my household. Well, it's not going to be good in 2022 necessarily, because that's a completely different situation in 2022, assuming that COVID-19 has been resolved or is under control, which at this point we don't know. But evergreen, that wouldn't be evergreen information. Or if I start talking about the Trump administration, and I'm talking about how Trump just tweeted something, and that's not evergreen because it's talking about something happening right now, and it's not necessarily going to be great in 2 years. It could be, depends on the situation. But another thing that wouldn't be evergreen would be if I'm talking a breakdown, a week by week breakdown of the playoffs in the NBA, and it's not evergreen. It's very specific to right now, what is happening right now. But an evergreen content would be something like something that stands the test of time. Like if I said top 10 things that you should do with your wife from the Dominican Republic. I used to live in the Dominican Republic. My wife was from the Dominican Republic. Here are 10 things that you should do in the Dominican Republic to get property. Or here's 5 things that you should know about Colorado Springs. Right? It's evergreen. It's gonna last for years and years and years. I'm making information that I put it out there. I could put it out 3 months later. It's still good. And what they'll do is, these old YouTubers, they'll make 10 videos. They'll take one day out of the week, Sunday. They'll make 10 videos and then make them, bam, 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 make them all at once. They edit all of them and then they put them all out and then they schedule them throughout the month. They'll say, okay, this month on the 1st, this video comes out. Then the next week after that, on the 7th, this video comes out and it's about how to make your trees greener. And then on the 14th, this video comes out and it's about how to set up your garden. And on the next one, like that's what they'll do. They'll make evergreen content and then they'll produce them and edit them all at once. Then they take them and chop them up and then they release them, sprinkle them out throughout the month. So that they can just sit back and as the video is being released, they always have something that's consistently coming out, right? So that's one of the tricks that they use for YouTube. Big Rob says, I agree with the topic. Glad to have multiple streams of income right now, Forex and cryptocurrency. That's great, man. I made and lost a bunch of money on cryptocurrency. So yeah, I'm not going against your hustle. Whatever helps to get that hustle going. The only thing I would recommend is anything that you could talk a lot about. If you can make a separate channel off of that, I can't see a reason why a person wouldn't want to do that. You don't even have to show your face. Like you can honestly turn off your face and just have your voice going and talk about stuff if you wanted to. And you can be as transparent as you want or as inconspicuous as you want. Sagas says, advice to young people, live under your means, stay away from new luxury cars and notes. My lesson, bought Apple in 2004 and also leased a car at $495 a month. Oh, jeez. And I had just invested $495 I'd be retired. Oh, if you would have taken that $495 a month, you got a cheap car, an El Cheapo beater with a heater car for $100 a month, and then taken the $300 you had left and put that on Apple stocks and kept buying Apple stock right now, you'd be retiring as a millionaire. Very true. Very, very true. So just living underneath your means means looking at how much debt you have, writing it all down, all the debt, everything you owe anyone, taking all your assets. That's any money you get in. That's from your job, from maybe you draw some art and you sell it every now and then, or you sell stuff on eBay, or you sell stuff on Let Go, or whatever income maybe your daughter has some money and she pays you because she's living in the room downstairs, or maybe your uncle lives down there, whatever extra income, you calculate that versus how much debt you have. And what Sagas is saying is you want your asset column, how much money you have coming in, to be greater than that of your expenses, right? And here's the thing. Us Americans, because I think we're not realistic with how much we actually have. I think that sometimes we take for granted the things that we have, the things that are available to us. We have an abundance of credit that you can pull out you can get a card and just go to the store, start buying things. We take it for granted. We just go there and just start swiping the card and rack up a couple $1,000s, right? We're just taking it for granted. Like, you should be using that as leverage for the rest of your life. Like, what you could do with that credit card is, first off, don't max it out, right? If it's a $3,000 limit, what you want to do is you want to pay it off as soon as possible. You could use it to get the rewards, get a rewards card that gives you points for traveling or points for whatever, right? Use that to buy groceries. You spent $300 on groceries, right? $100 on groceries. Pay it off immediately. So you would have used the $100 anyway to go get groceries. You would have went to the Walmart, had $100 in your debit card. You were gonna pull the $100, pay it for your $100 worth of groceries. That's it. But the thing is, that debit card, that cash, don't give you no rewards. The credit card does. You use the credit card, pay the $100. The $100 gives you points. Take the $100 on your debit card, pay off what you just spent on that. Boom. You know, I'm not in the Ramsey school of the David Ramsey. Is his name Dave Ramsey? I don't agree with Dave Ramsey on that. I think he's a great guy. I like his content and everything, but I don't agree with going against. You can if you have the discipline, you can use the credit cards responsibly. That's what we do. So that's another like little side hustle we have. And because of it, we got tons of free tickets all the time. That's why we're able to fly all over the United States, because we got free tickets. There's one that actually gives us points on hotels. So we got free hotel stays, we got free travel pay stays, we got free. You can actually get free rental cars. There's all kinds of point systems. You want to just be very disciplined. Live beneath your means. That means if you have a credit card and it has $3,000 limit on it, spend $200, pay it off immediately. You're living beneath your means. If you max it to $2,000, number one, you're going to jack up your credit. Number two, it's harder to pay, and they're going to hit you with interest. So you lose in that scenario. Live beneath your means. Take your asset column. It should be greater than your expenses column. And if you have to, start paying off the expenses column to get it down. And if there's other things that you don't need, like if you already have Hulu, maybe you don't need Netflix. Maybe there's a way you can jack it. If you're watching Hulu and you only watch it just to see Rick and Morty, but you already have Netflix, drop one of them and then bootleg the rest off of the internet. You know what I mean? Like, try to find ways to bring down your expense column. These are all tips and tricks that have helped us and to really taken our life to a different level of stability. And I want to share this stuff with you guys because it's really changed our life. It's really changed our life in a way that neither one of us have seen this level of stability, this level of extra income, expendable income, this level of amazing life. And it's something that I hope other Americans can learn. will adapt, not just learn it, but adapt and do it. Take action. You got to take action. I notice like a lot of people don't take action, and that I think that holds a lot of people back. All right, let me see. What kind of questions did I have here? Looking at some questions here that I've got. Let me just move this. Just move this over here. Make it a little bit smaller. Put it right there. Get Lost Vlog says, thanks, Bruce. I needed to hear those gems. Yeah, man. We got to do for ourselves, man. Like all of us have to do for ourselves. And I just don't think that we as Americans, for whatever reason, like we are super into money, but it's not taught. I don't understand. Like, how can you be this capitalistic and this market driven or whatever, and nobody talks about financial education? Nobody talks about. It's not really. My kid was taught had a class on personal finance, which I thought was great. I don't recall ever having that kind of class, and I just think that more Americans, especially older Americans like us, didn't get this kind of didn't get the education. They didn't tell you about FICO score. They didn't tell you about getting a loan, let alone a business loan. They don't tell you like how to start a business or LLCs, or they don't tell you about how you can reduce your taxes by having a business that you can have tax write-offs. They don't tell you about purchasing real estate to offset your taxes, your taxable income. They don't tell you about. There's all of these things I'm learning, but I'm now in my 40s. I'm almost 50 years old. I started learning this stuff when I was in my 30s. Like, this would have benefited me when I was in my 20s. You know, like, I don't understand why. I'm not teaching my kids this stuff. I'm teaching them how to manage money, the value of money, like what kind of world we live in, you know, so that they can navigate this world that we live in. And I'm seeing some people actually adapt, and actually have copied some people who follow me, who've reached out to me and said, "Hey, Bruce, this is what I'm doing." And then I'll look into it. I'm like, this might work for us. And sometimes it will. Big Rob says, they only teach to keep us in debt and enslaved and be enslaved. You know, that's a philosophy that Robert Kiyosaki talks about. He talks about, if you didn't know, Robert Kiyosaki, great resource, great guy. If you want more financial literacy, then I would highly, highly recommend all of Robert Kiyosaki's books. He's got one book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's got that book changed my life. He's got another book called The Four Quadrants. That's a really good book. He's got several other great books, and his concepts are great. But one of the things he says is that now I don't know how true this is, but in the early 1900s, did you know that there was a time when people did not have high school? There was no high school. High school was for the rich until they made it public, which is what they're trying to do for colleges, which I think is a brilliant idea. Take public colleges like community colleges, make them free, so that now you have a grade K through 12, and then you also have maybe a associate's degree level. Make it free. Then you have people who can get in the job market, and they have a better chance of getting a better job, a higher paying job, you know? Like, I don't understand. Anyway, back in the early 1900s, he was saying that the old robber barons of the 1900s, who basically would stand up on monopoly, and they were very aggressive. They would take other people's businesses. Talking about Carnegie, talking about Rockefeller, talking about all those guys, like the equivalent of billionaires now. But it was the first time anybody had been that rich in a postmodern era, or modern era back then. And what they were doing was very aggressive tactics. I mean, to the point where they were putting people out of business. They still do that today, but there's monopoly laws because of these robber baron guys. Have you ever seen that movie, There Will Be Blood? That is an awesome movie. and that guy's mindset in that movie where he just takes, willing to kill people to take more. Willing to do anything it took to get more money, to get more oil, to get more assets, to get more, stealing it from people, making fake contracts. I mean, you name it. Lying, cheating, stealing, robber barons. Anyway, what Robert Kiyosaki is saying is that these guys, the Rockefellers, the Carnegie Mellons, those guys, right? The people who, titans of industry, who basically set up the railroad system, set up electricity, set up all these different things. What they did was they set up a public school system to train people to not necessarily bring up society or anything like that. They wanted to get workers. They wanted people to be trained to be workers. So they don't have to have a college level education. They just need to have K through 12 and then be able to read and write, do basic math, and then come work for me. This is going to train you to work in my that's the kind of knowledge that they would have. So very interesting, I thought. Very, very interesting. Can you spell his name, please? Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah. I could show you. Let me see if I can find it. There's a couple books I can recommend to you for those of you who are entrepreneurs and trying to go to the next level. I'm gonna bring up a couple that I think are really good, that will change your life. These people will change your life. This is real talk. These people have so much knowledge that they're freely giving this information out, and is very good. Okay, so the first one is right here that I would highly recommend. Hold on, let me move this for a second. First one, Robert Kiyosaki. That's his name right there. There's the dude, and his book is called Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's also got this game called Cash Flow. Really good game. I mean, it really makes you understand what's going on. It's not like a Monopoly type game. It's more realistic on how you create cash flow. His whole thing is about being a business owner, being an investor, and how to do it. This is him right here. I mean, regardless of how you believe, what you think about all these stupid conspiracy theories about billionaires, or whether you're left or right. I know that right now the country's very divided. This has nothing to do with that, okay? This has to do with making cash flow, and that is it. And that's the beauty of this whole thing. Anyone can do this. Doesn't matter if you're BLM, doesn't matter if you're Tea Party, doesn't matter if you are... It doesn't matter. This is how you become an entrepreneur. This is how you make money, and that's what he talks about. Financial intelligence. Another guy you should really check out. And his book, the book I would recommend from Robert Kiyosaki, two things. One is his cash flow game, which you can get online. Great game. Just go to Google, type in cash flow. It's awesome. It's incredible. I want to play it on here to show you guys how effective and how dope it is. It's on his site, richdad.com. I'll just show you real quick. This is it right here. You register to do this. He's got classes, he's got products, he's got courses. But there's a free game on here, and this is it right here. And this right here is a board game that you can use to figure out how to create cash flow. And then the other guy I would highly recommend is Grant Cardone. And he has a book called 10X. 10X talks about, in a nutshell, it talks about how if you want first off, you need to know what you want in life. And whatever that is, you need to put, to get your income 10 times what it is right now, you need to work 10 times harder. You need to put massive action behind whatever, behind your actions to attain your goals. That's what 10x is all about. Massive action to get massive effects nonstop. So that is what, great book. 10x is a really good book. And then the last guy I think will benefit a lot of people in this audience is this dude right here. This dude, people sleep on this dude right here. This dude is he's a savage. He's a beast. He's a monster. This dude's name is Glendon. And he's been in the YouTube space for quite some time. Put all of your political views aside. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Okay, when it comes to just making this money, this is something that you can do for your household right now. And this dude talks about how to do it. And here's his videos. He talks about how to start a corporation, how to get credit cards with no credit checks, starting a business with no money. He's got some really, really good stuff here. And if you start from the start, start from the very beginning, he walks you through financial literacy. I think that this dude has potential to catch up with people like Gary Vee. Gary Vee is another one, by the way. Gary Vee, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone. Like this, that's the type of information that he puts out there, except it's way more practical. It's way more hands-on. It's way more stuff you can use right now, in my opinion. So this dude is really good. Savage Finance, check him out. This site in particular, he's got several other channels, and they're okay. They're entertaining, but this one right here is straight up knowledge, and this is really good stuff. Leave this up if you can. Got to get back to work. Yep, no problem, man. I will leave this up. I will break this into parts for everybody. And before I let you guys go, I'm about to get out of here, but before I let you guys go, I wanted to do one last thing. I wanted to look up my Q&A. And I apologize in advance for anybody watching who's going to see some horrible things because I get some trolls, but mostly it's positive stuff. Let me see. My grandson did an internship in the operating room. Oh my God, the operating room. Okay, I don't know what the context of that is. Very informational and educational. Thank you. Looking at old videos, but they're really helpful for me and Yuri's old videos are really, really good for that. This is a good video. It answers questions that I had on the topic. Old video. Why the girl like him? I guess he's referring to me, Chris. I never understand why, if people are so mad, why they post over and over again. And this video must have really made him upset. And the video I'm talking about is what are the signs of Filipino romance scammer? And this one really made him pissed off. He says, why the girl like him? Why she don't go to Filipino? It is not love. All right. Philippines like foreigners for what? You think love? No. All right. I have euro and I live 12 years in Philippines, so your dollars is not so much. Okay. This dude from Germany says, you don't buy a woman in Germany if the woman doesn't want to work for her income the month. She should stay in the country where she lives. I don't understand. Good information. Thank you, sir. Jamal Waring. Well said. Thank you so much. Big Trucker series on here. You still here, man? He says, There are a lot of women in the world, and there are a lot of them who either are impoverished or lonely, anxious for a hookup with a guy who they feel they can trust. They want a man who can give them stability and meet their needs. I agree with that. Very simple, straight to the point. The Philippines is a nice place to meet women, specifically because American men are priced out of their economy, and we can go there and afford to have the best of what they have to offer. The problem is that it's very distant and expensive to travel 9,000 miles away, and it costs $1,000 per trip minimum here, coming from New York. One of my uncles met a Dominican woman 14 years younger than him, and they have been married since 2011, and they now have 3 kids, what with possibly a fourth on the way. He's basically rich here, and we could have met, and he could have met a woman here, but he chose to go look abroad. His wife isn't dependent, and she works 9 to 5, and she's earns enough money to support her family. Her parents are very happy and with the relationship. Any American man who attempts to have a relationship with a Filipina should know what the majority of the cost is going to be on him, but the reward, if he is fortunate enough to meet a good one, will be a loving and stable relationship that is mutual. He will get what he needs from her, and she will get what she needs from him. Can't argue with that. Very, very balanced response. No attacks. Just how straight to the point on what Big Truck Series Review Motorsports is talking about. I appreciate that. Jerry Hall says, what should be given, what should be a given as a man should be, you should want to help your wife's family. I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't understand why people are so mad about it, about not doing it. It's strange to me, like, especially if it's your wife. Like, I don't understand why you would attack them, like, or not want to help. It's so weird to me. Oh man, excuse me. A relationship with a Filipina is okay, but these. Oh crap. Okay, I got Yuri calling me. Hold on a second. Yuri's out of town right now, so she's contacting me. Hey guys, I gotta let this one go. I gotta get out of here. But been great talking to you guys. I've been talking for about an hour, and I guess we couldn't get to the Discord, but it's all right. Maybe I'll be on there later. I will talk to you guys next week.